ADHD can produce non-stop. Like it's a gift that keeps on giving. If you don't shut it up, it will not.
Make them aware right from the start that it's not going to be easy.
If you think that, I'll sit down for 15 minutes and then I'll fold my laundry.
You will not.
We want phrasal verbs.
And this is like a house party. Everyone is having fun. And then there's me in the middle at the table doing conjugation of Italian words. This is how I make people believe that it's worth showing up. I just know that it's true.
Welcome to the podcast Ask No Nurture by AKN, and today our guest is Anna, one of our teachers that has been with us for almost 3 years and has more than 10 years of experience teaching English, but also French and Italian and Russian. And because today we will be talking about ADHD, and Anna is a self-diagnosed ADHDer, as she likes to refer to herself, we'll be focused on this topic because ADHD is claimed to be this thing that always stops people from learning, for example, a foreign language. And here she is, speaking more than one foreign language, even teaching it. So how did you do this?
Kept learning. You just have to keep trying. Even if it's not ADHD, everyone has struggles with something, to remember things or to focus or to organize yourself or to manage time. You have some weak points and you know them. For ADHDers, it's just a specific list of those points, but actually everyone has some weak points. You have to work with them. You have to adapt. You have to maybe make deal with your, mood sometimes if you're not motivated enough. This is the art of negotiation with your own mind.
All right. In your case, was it perhaps the hyperfocus? Were languages those things that you just wanted to develop?
That's a good question, by the way. Was the language only English? English only, I would say exclusively. Because every other language started with such a huge, hard language barrier that every other language, everyone except English, had a point where I was doubting that, I will go on generally. I would just give up. But I didn't. That's the point. That's the only thing that's different. I wouldn't say that there was some specific technique or teacher or approach or method that worked. Yeah. Just have to keep trying. Just have to keep trying. Okay. Like you are with yourself forever, for life. You have to adapt.
And then English, was it the first foreign language you learned? Or?
Yeah, it was the first one. And this is exactly the case where, unfortunately, I cannot tell my students how it worked for me or why it worked for me or what did I do. No idea. Something just clicked at the right moment, at the right place, at the right time. Yeah. And then I just took every opportunity. But that definitely wasn't a hyper-focus.
All right. Okay. Hard work, determination, just continuation with, the process, right? Absolutely. Now, if you get a student with ADHD, how do you support them?
Hard work is a big, trigger for ADHDers. Mm-hmm. Because you know what we hear, they hear? Try harder. Try writing it down. Or try drilling it. Maybe cramming would help you. And, it's always with this demeaning, just try again. Yeah. I'm sure you didn't try enough. So trying hard is not the point. Trying is the point.
I see.
It is already hard enough. Why would you try harder?
I see. Well, that's a very good point.
Just
exactly.
Try.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do anything, right? All right. Are there any practical strategies to help students with ADHD stay engaged?
Again, balance between joy or something that keeps you hyper-focused and you don't want to get out of it. Mm-hmm. Just know that it's there and then try to balance. Mm-hmm. So here, with motivation, disbalance, that's hard to balance, okay? Disbalance, hard to balance, yeah. This is probably the biggest feature of ADHD, because you're either not involved enough or too involved. Mm-hmm. Always. That's the issue. Why ADHD is generally can be a problem. Because it's not a problem, There's this joke that some people suffer from autism, and then there's this guy on the internet who says, I don't suffer, I just have it. That's it. But you do suffer from this too much or not enough. Too much or not enough. You're always too involved, and you cannot fish your attention out of there. It just stays there. Or you are not involved enough. So here, motivation is the hardest. Not learning, not remembering words, not understanding something.
Yeah.
But exactly motivation. That's what you work on, but you just negotiate.
And then does it help if you tell a student that you are an ADHDer?
It does. It also makes them amused because exactly they get surprised, but what do you mean you're ADHD and you learn so many languages? But the question is, how are you able not to learn so many different languages if you have ADHD? It's impossible to stay on one. There was 1 year, just 1 year, because it was so hard. But there was 1 year when I was learning 3 languages in parallel, like at the same time.
Wow.
At different levels. And that was not a good decision.
Wow.
But I was never bored.
Right,
This year
exactly.
was so intense and so fun, but so hard. So
Did
after
you-
that year, I learned my limits.
Uh-huh.
2 languages is the max.
All
I
right.
cannot learn 3 at the same time.
But then were you successful in all 3 of them?
Yep. Because ADHDers.
Wow.
The more you challenge, the more output you get.
Yeah.
But at some moment in time, you can burn out and you don't see that. Because your brain still continues giving out everything it has. And then you have a high fever for 3 days in a row and you're like horizontal. That is what happened to me in that year. But I learned. Now I know 2 languages at the same time are fine for me.
Right. One is not enough because it would be too boring.
Exactly.
Right? You need to give yourself a challenge, all right? So you
I feel too comfortable.
Exactly. That's what I thought. Excellent. And now, so if you could go back to that time, because it's absolutely super interesting to me. How did you divide all these languages into manageable tasks, chunks, so you could actually, how did you plan it? Because ADHDers apparently are not very good at planning. How did you, approach each
I
of them?
didn't plan and I didn't strategize and I just didn't think about it at all. I just thought that I need to be doing something all the time, just so that there is some input. Doesn't matter what exactly. Wow. There was this curious case. I think there's even a video somewhere in the internet, the archives, where I am at a party and this is like a house party. Everyone is having fun.
All right.
And then there's me in the middle at the table doing conjugation of Italian words. And somebody's like, but aren't you bored? And I'm like, what do you mean? If I was speaking only, I would be bored. But like that, it's easier.
Wow.
When I started Polish, I just went to the first maybe 3 classes, knowing everything, because it was alphabet, it was pronunciation, the things that I just acquired from the streets. I didn't hear anything absolutely, groundbreakingly new.
Yeah.
So at the same time as they gave me some, for example, alphabet in Polish, I just copied it in Italian. I don't know why Italian. Italian is just the first go-to language that helps me entertain myself. Or they gave me the number and I was translating that to Italian. Just to stay focused, because if I don't, I will forget what the teacher is talking about.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, that's fascinating. By the way, I did not mention Anna's not Polish. Anna's from Belarus.
Oh, right.
We never use Polish with each other anyway, so But that's so interesting. Okay, so basically this is how you occupy your brain, right? Yeah. And stay focused.
I call it not occupy, but I scratch it, because it's always like an itchy brain. And if it's itchy, you can imagine something itches.
Yeah.
But imagine if it itches mentally.
Yeah.
You have to try so many things to learn what really scratches the itch. You really need to find that. So for me, that's doing something and being aware why I'm doing that. That's it. If I'm at the party, I'm having fun. I'm still, in the environment. I'm involved, but I just do that and I know why I'm doing that, just not to lose the train of conversation and also not to lose my Italian. I know that. And everyone is comfortable with that. So why would I change that, But yeah, they made fun of me and they made that video and they posted it somewhere.
I need to find it. I want to find it. Now, ADHD, at least to me, and I think to many people, means fun. Like you like fun activities, not the boring ones, not the tedious, repetitive things, right? So how do you make it more fun for students?
For ADHD, the question is, what is fun? So when you say not so serious or not so deep in the or focused in the topic, Actually, sometimes it's fun. For example, we once covered, I think, for 3 hours with one of my students who had no connection to the topic. He was a programmer. His hobbies were running and tango classes. And then suddenly, he just asked me, what is the lost media? And I never heard that term before. I Googled that lost media is a piece of information that's recorded somehow, and it has disappeared from the internet, and nobody knows if we can find it again.
All right.
Normally from the 90s. First of all, how would you even know this term? This is very deep.
Right.
Second of all, would you go and try to investigate what those lost media are, or which lost media pieces were found in this year? This student found it fun. It was fun for him somehow.
Right.
Not connected to his life at all.
Right.
He enjoyed it so much.
That's the thing. So basically what you need to do is experiment and try out a lot of different avenues, right?
Absolutely. It's negotiating.
Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Thank you for bringing it up, because it doesn't have to be fun in the meaning.
In the classic way, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're describing fun in a neurotypical way.
Of course, absolutely. Okay, routine in language learning. How did you cope with routine? Because routine isn't easy for ADHDers.
Routine is overrated.
Okay.
You just have to be constant. Not consistent, but constant. Because consistent, you have to repeat schedules. You get bored. You have to repeat, I don't know, programs, or even the type of homework. If it's the same, different words, but always learn them and make a phrase. This is too much for your brain. It's overrated. So then you just do something else. You have to be constantly on, like always involved, but not limited. Yeah, I guess this is the expectations limit you.
Yeah.
Don't expect you to be consistent. Just don't stop. Mm-hmm. That's it.
So then, okay, hold on. Just not to get it wrong, yeah? You're at that party having fun with your friends and then conjugating those verbs in Italian. And then what? You go home and then you sleep and then you wake up. The first thing you do is, I don't know, take a shower or eat breakfast and conjugate again or something like this?
As you're making breakfast, your kitchen is already, because you're an ADHD, your kitchen is already covered in sticky notes that have different words or terms you have to, or formulas. And while you're making breakfast, you're already looking at that.
Right, okay.
There's also a way. That got me bored very fast. I started that at university, sticky notes.
Yeah.
Got me bored so fast. It lasted maybe half a year. And it was working so productively, so effectively. I remembered everything I saw. But at some moment in time, it just stopped working. Just stopped and that's it. And I had to switch.
Okay.
I just take it as a given.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
You'll get bored. Mm-hmm. Maybe sooner than you think. Maybe prepare better than you hope, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But then if you get it, because you're a teacher, you have this goal of doing something, learning and all that. If you get a student with ADHD who does not perhaps know, he can't recognize that, this is a moment where I need to switch the method or the activity. Maybe they will just think that they got completely burnt out and they should not be learning anymore.
Again, it's about awareness. So you can notice if it happens, if you have meetings on a weekly basis, again, you need to show up. Because the main learning process happens in between those meetings. But you need to meet regularly. If you do, then you can identify and stop it. Yeah. Because why? Because I have ADHD. And if the student gets bored, I get bored. And I don't like such lessons. I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's it. I notice you just have to show up. And you notice it.
All right.
You see.
But then you need to have a teacher that's observant enough to be able to see that you're bored as well.
Probably. But again, isn't that every teacher? Because if you just retell everything, if you just retell the material, transfer the material, what makes you a teacher even? Mm-hmm. You have to adapt. Mm-hmm. That's what.
Of course, absolutely.
That's the point.
Look at how much bad information there is out there about teachers in general.
Yep.
It's not a prestigious profession these days, and a lot of teachers, and I'm not only talking about languages, are criticized in general as not being good teachers, as not being focused, not being attentive, and definitely not attentive to individual needs, So that's why I'm just saying that, yes, of course, as a given, every teacher should be like this, but it doesn't mean that it's the case, right?
True.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Again, It doesn't click with the teacher. It clicks when you're ready,
Yeah.
Maybe you're lucky and you have great teachers. I wasn't so lucky my whole life. Not my whole life. When I started learning Italian, the whole year, 2 semesters, is like the first test ground to see if you stay at that department or you switch to a different department, like not Italian, maybe German, Chinese or something. They just give you these 2 semesters because later it's too late and you cannot acquire the second language as fast. And you have to switch after the first. My head of department was 100% sure I would leave, not even finishing the first year, because I was so hopeless. I came to the classes, I kept showing up and just, looking at everyone, saying something and not being able to process those sounds. But I just kept showing up. And every time they asked me something, I just nodded or shook my head. That was it. For almost a year.
And what happened then?
It just clicked.
I see. Okay.
You accumulate a number of hours. In my opinion, it's pretty ignorant to think that this effort, this process will not bring you results.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
It will.
If you keep showing up, as you said. However, a lot of people will become, I don't want to say bored, but they will become disillusioned. They will think it's never going to happen, so they will give up, at some point. But you did not, and you proved them wrong.
Hopefully, they come back.
Yeah, of course. I mean, sooner or later, if English becomes a need in their life, then they have to. Absolutely, of course. We already said that it's difficult to plan. Strategy, routine, no, just constant, as you said, just be in this constant process.
Keep being involved.
Okay.
Keep being involved. You have to be, there is a joke about ADHD about sitting down. And this is a metaphor.
Tell me.
Don't ever sit down. Because if you sit down, if you take a short seat, it will become a big seat. And if you are in the big seat, it will become the longest seat and then you don't get up. This is the ADHD
definition, basically.
Kinda.
All right.
Because you don't. This sitting down is not about sitting down. If you think that, I'll sit down for 15 minutes and then I'll fold my laundry, you will not.
Yeah.
This seat will become bigger. You will not. You just have to admit it. You just accept it, and that's it. This has changed my morning routine. Switching from English, I have completely eliminated sleep problems because when I wake up in the morning, I just get up.
You don't do the snooze and all these I'll just
and maybe
5
you
more
feel
minutes.
bad. Get up and feel bad. That's okay. But your goal is to get up, right?
Anyway, so I wait.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this has shaped my lifestyle so in such a resourced way because I sleep enough now. And I wake up without stress and I don't have anxiety. In summer, I could wake up with the rise of sun, 4 a.m. No anxiety, no stress, nothing. Because I just decide if I wake up, I wake up. Okay, that's it. Fine.
That is brilliant. I absolutely love it. Thank you for sharing this example. I love it. I mean, this is my style of waking up. I do not have ADHD, but I can only imagine that. Yeah. Okay. So you've introduced this rule with every activity you do in life, I suppose, right? At least you try. You don't try hard, you try. Because trying is what matters.
This is what, at least you try. This is a good point. You try, but it's not at least. You try.
Yeah, okay.
It works. It will work. It will bring you result. Probably, you asked me, now I have the answer. It just came to my mind because ADHD. So this is how I make people believe that it's worth showing up. I just know that it's true, and they see that I know that it's true. Mm-hmm. And it's very easy, very hard. The opposite. It's very hard to persuade someone in doing something that you don't think is necessary. But if I know it just will work. I know Absolutely. It will bring you result. I know that it's effective, and they see that, and they just keep showing up.
So clever. I mean, so simple, and at the same time, so clever.
Took me 2 decades to figure out only.
Well, but here you are, and now you're spreading the word, so hopefully you're helping others too, Okay, active learning techniques versus ADHD. How do they work? Do they work for ADHD?
What would you define by active learning techniques? This immersion, this
for instance,
cognitive...
Exactly, producing the language.
Producing. Again, don't get caught up in that ADHD can produce non-stop. Like it's a gift that keeps on giving. It's like something, if you don't shut it up, it will not. You just need to treat it as your mind is like a tap. You open it, it will non-stop give you things and ideas to process non-stop. Then you just need to sometimes, close it. Not every time it's possible, but sometimes you have to. So, do not overwhelm yourself because life can overwhelm you.
For sure, especially today, with everything around.
Yeah, so that's this myth of thinking that if you get something like a system or second brain where you store information or some helper or assistant that will fix everything, that is still adding on your plate. Don't do that. Why would you do that? Just do what you have. Just do what you have.
Okay.
That's it.
I love that. So simple. Again, very, just go ahead, do it,
Just go ahead, do it. That's
okay. The awareness, that's what you have mentioned on a few occasions today. Students need to be aware. Not everyone is aware of any shortcomings they have. And so do you believe it is worth letting them know? And if so, how to do it, how to go about it?
Depends on the goal, again. If this shortcoming, if this failure, if this mistake that you keep on making, if it doesn't stop you from achieving some specific goal that we have identified, not something that you told me in the beginning, but something that we've polished and we've reformulated, and this thing, it stays there. We have this like lighthouse. If on the way there, these mistakes don't stop you, keep on making them, just go there, get to the lighthouse, then you will fix the mess.
All right.
You can build on something. Mm-hmm. Probably my approach is to make you fix something or to solve something from the very beginning. If it is just one mistake that you start using S in present simple, third person singular, great. This one achievement can fuel your brain to such a tempo that you cannot imagine. You just need to do something, just one thing. I want to give you the ability to achieve it. Just achieve it, and then you'll see.
And
then
what
you
if
will see.
That shortcoming actually stands in the way of reaching your goal? Is it a role of a teacher to tell students about it?
Absolutely. You have to be, again, transparent and aware. You can say that there are ways around it, but they will take more time. Just let them know that they will take more time, but that doesn't mean that it's a problem.
Yeah,
it's not a problem. It's not an issue. It just means that here there's traffic jam, and you need to go around. If you don't want to sit in this traffic jam for hours, just go around. Mm-hmm. I sound so know-all, right?
No. I don't want to say scientific, but like you've got an answer for everything. But it's good. Because that shows your experience with all kinds of problems that you come across, not only because of, but also generally as a teacher, not only because of ADHD, right? Mm-hmm. But do you think ADHD has made you more aware when it comes to teaching? Because you've had to really put a lot of effort. And so now you're more aware of what kinds of obstacles people can actually experience on their way.
Absolutely, of course. As I've said, I've been in their shoes so many times, they can't imagine. I struggled with Italian, I struggled with French. For the first semester, I was so silent in my group that the guy from my group wanted to hit on me. So we're in the corridor saying that he's never seen me before.
Oh my gosh.
I was so silent. I struggled a lot with French, with Italian, with Polish. Oh God, I struggled so much.
And then do you share with your students that, language could be a struggle like it was for me because blah, blah, blah?
Could be. What I'm telling them at the first lesson is this is not an easy ride. Yeah. What you're signing for, you have already signed for that.
Exactly.
This is not an easy ride. This will be hard and also frustrating and also boring. And at some point in time, it will even make you doubt yourself. You need to know that. Yeah. You need to know that. And I tell them, and they know that. And then when this happens, they don't panic. We can do something with it.
All right. I see. So basically, make them aware.
Absolutely.
Right from the start. that it's not going to be easy, but then at the same time, you do give them tools and you do remind them about, while trying, not necessarily hard, just trying and being there in the constant process without stopping. And do you think it generally works when the teacher tells them things like this all the time, or don't they get like, oh, this again?
Because I believe that it works. If I was repeating something that is just, a script somewhere, wouldn't work.
Language can be acquired in such different ways, Like, for me, it did work. And then there's plenty of people who learned by playing video games. Yeah. I've never played a video game in my life, so I don't know. How would I know? And also, when I was little, there was no YouTube or internet. So there was no way for me to learn in this very, very natural way, yeah? And then there are students here today that will come and say, yes, I want mechanical practice, I want this way. And there are others who will say they want this other way. And I think the key is just to find the key for everyone.
You can mix it in. Sometimes the student will tell you, I want to never, ever touch the topic of phrasal verbs in my life, but I want to cover everything else. And I'm like, great. So it means that today we're taking phrasal verbs. Because you have to train the feeling of being uncomfortable and still going on.
I love that.
You train that from the very first lesson.
And you know what? There's something in it because at the last immersion, we had a mix of students. Certain students were completely new. Others have been like this regular immersion, attendees. And what they said was, the regulars, we want phrasal verbs. And those newcomers were like, what are you talking about, phrasal verbs? And then the next day, we're like, can we please have more phrasal verbs? So I guess that, you can make people get used to certain things, even if they hate it at the beginning. So, yeah. Okay, and we mentioned breaks before. You said, well, breaks make the brain refresh.
Yeah, sometimes stop. So the breaks are also different. The breaks I mentioned, I mean breaks from formal learning.
Yeah.
That's important. Don't sit down. If you have ADHD, don't sit down.
Yeah.
Don't sit down. Just continue doing something, whatever it is, even if it's very slow and doesn't matter something, there has to be something. I meant breaks from formal learning. They're not dangerous. It's not dangerous. At all.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. All right. And so how to approach it? If the student says, I want to take a break, then what? Okay, just go ahead and take it all.
Of course, go ahead and take it, but we have to plan something like if you tell me you want to take a break, I don't tell you, okay, fine, or you can't because who am I, your mom? Yeah. So I'm saying, okay, what's your plan for the break? Maybe they haven't ever thought about that even. They thought the break means no English anymore in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not true. That's not true. What's your plan for this break? And then they're like, oh, maybe I could watch Kardashian show or whatever, anything that lets you, the process going. You can't stop because if you stop, this mechanism is just so hard to kickstart. It's so hard to kickstart.
Exactly. And thank you. And this is what we will leave everybody with. Guys, a break has to be understood in a specific way.
Absolutely.
When it comes to the language is this living thing in your mind. And as long as you keep it there in any form, means you did not really take a break, right?
Exactly.
Anna, thank you very much for coming and explaining all these, nuances of ADHD, because it's not easy. And I suppose more and more people struggle. Certain people are diagnosed. Other people just suspect they may have it. So that was very, very, very helpful. Thank you.
I hope so.